Hi guys, welcome back to All Things Wholesome. This is a channel where we discuss all things that teaches about money skills. So today we are going to be diving deeper into the world of exchange traded funds, which are ETFs. So whether you are a regular investor or you're just starting out, ETFs are a powerful tool to diversify your portfolio and to reach your financial goals. So today I'm going to be breaking down what ETFs are, the types of ETFs that we have, and how you can get started with investing in ETFs. Today I'm going to be doing a presentation. I'm not going to be doing a video. Before we go to the presentation, I just want to quickly mention that this was a requested video. My brother requested this video a long time ago. I apologize for the inconvenience, and this video is long overdue, but I'm hoping that now that it is here, it's going to be helpful to my brother and to everyone else who's looking into investing in ETFs. Now let's get to the presentation. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Comment down below if you have any questions or you have any comments that you want to make. Don't forget, hitting the like button helps this video to reach a larger audience. So you don't want to be selfish and keep this information to yourself. You want others to have it as well. Alright, so let's get started right now. Okay, so in this video, you are not going to be seeing my face. You are going to be seeing the presentation because I just want the information to be out there. People who can't understand what I'm saying, because I know that I can say some words somehow. You can just read for yourself what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I decided to name this presentation Understanding ETFs, a comprehensive guide for South African investors. So this is not for just investors, it's for everyone who's just looking to understand what are ETFs. The purpose of the presentation is to provide the public with comprehension of exchange traded funds, especially South Africans who wants to know more about diversifying their investments. So yeah, that's why I decided to put together this presentation. But as I've mentioned before, this was a requested video from my brother. The presentation will cover the following topics. We will define what ETFs are, types of ETFs, benefits of ETFs to South Africa's investors, and then benefits in general. And then we're going to go to risk of ETFs and how to invest in ETFs in South Africa. So as I have mentioned that I'm going to be talking about exchange traded funds, which are ETFs. Exchange traded funds are now becoming increasingly favored investment vehicle globally, offering a diversified exposure to various asset classes. ETFs has an added benefit as they provide investors with an accessible and cost-effective way to participate in different financial markets at once. That's why I said ETFs can help you diversify your portfolio. And then now we come to defining what ETFs are. So an exchange traded fund is a financial product, bundle or basket of assets that are traded on a stock market that tracks the performance of a particular index, such as bonds, stocks, commodities, or combination of these. Their share represents a proportional ownership of these assets. So ETFs hold a basket of assets and provide investors with an easy way to gain exposure to a specific market or sector. In South Africa, the ETFs are regulated by the FSCA, which is the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, and they are listed on the JSE, which is the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. As I've explained that ETFs track the performance of a particular index, I just felt the need to explain what an index is. And an index is any tool or instrument used to track performances in a group of representative data. In this case, the index tracks a group of assets, so it helps investors understand how that group is doing overall. So I'm going to make an example with S&P 500 index that tracks large American companies' performances. So if the index goes up, it means those companies are doing well, and vice versa. If it goes down, which means those companies are not doing as great. So ETFs are typically measured using their net asset value. This represents the total value of all assets held by the ETF, and then you divide that number by the number of shares outstanding. Now we are going to be going to the types of ETFs. The first type of ETF that we are going to be discussing is broad market ETFs. So these ETFs tracks the performance of the entire market. They can be a useful tool for investors who look to gain exposure to a diverse of companies across the various sectors without having to pick an individual instrument. So one of the most significant example of broad market ETFs is the S&P 500, which tracks the top 500 American companies. So broad market ETFs do not focus on a particular sector, but it is, as the name suggests, it tracks the broad markets. The next type of ETF that we are going to be discussing is sector-specific ETFs. So these ETFs focus on tracking an index made up of companies offering similar or related products or services within a specific sector of the economy. One example of the sector ETF is the iShares that tracks a capped IT index. So as you can see, this is an IT index, which means it is focused on one sector. So next, we are going to be discussing equity ETFs. So these ETFs tracks the local and international equity markets. So one example of an equity ETF is the JSE Top 40 that tracks 40 biggest companies on the JSE. And then we come to bond ETFs. Bond ETFs tracks corporate or government bonds, providing investors with a regular income stream. So one example of the bond ETF is the Satrix SA Bond ETF. And then we come to the commodities ETF. So commodity ETFs tracks the price of natural resources such as gold, oil, agricultural products. And one example of the commodity ETFs is the new gold ETFs that tracks the gold spot price. The last type of ETF that we are going to be discussing is currency ETFs. So currency ETFs tracks the value of different currencies, allowing investors to hedge against currency fluctuations. So one example of currency ETF is the Invesco Currency Shares Japanese Yen Trust that tracks the relative value of currency or baskets of currencies. Now we are going to benefits of ETFs to South African investors. As I've mentioned, that I'm not talking to only investors, so I'm talking to anyone who just wants to know more about ETFs. So the first benefit is access to international markets. So ETFs allow South African investors to gain exposure to international markets such as the Euro Stoxx 50 without the need for complex and costly international trading accounts. So yeah, ETFs are helpful in that way, that you can just invest in international markets without having to have the accounts internationally. The second benefit is rand hedging. So ETFs allows a convenient way to hedge against exchange rate fluctuation, helping investors to protect their investments from currency volatility. The third benefit is passive investment approach. So ETFs offer a low-cost passive investment approach, which can be an attractive alternative to actively managed funds. Benefits of ETFs in general. So number one is obviously diversification. So if you are looking to diversify your portfolios, ETFs helps you do that. So it allows investors to diversify their portfolios by gaining exposure to different asset classes while reducing the risk of individual stock or sector selection. So it just helps you not to be out there picking individual stocks. You can just pick an ETF that is going to give you a diversified approach. And number two, low cost. So ETFs generally have lower management fees compared to actively managed funds, making them cost-effective investment options. Number three is transparency. So most ETFs disclose their holdings daily, allowing investors to see exactly what they own. And then the next is tax efficient. So ETFs often have lower portfolio turnover compared to actively managed funds, resulting in potential tax advantages for investors. Number 5 is liquidity. So ETFs trade on a stock exchange throughout the trading day, providing investors with liquidity and flexibility to buy and sell at the market prices. So it becomes easier to buy and sell ETFs. And then risks of ETFs, we have tracking error. ETFs may not perfectly track the underlying index due to factors such as fee, trading costs, and sampling methods. And number 2, market risks. ETFs are subject to market fluctuations, and their value can rise and fall based on changes in the underlying assets. And then number 3, it is regulatory. The changes in the regulations or tax laws could impact the performance of ETFs and their tax treatment. Okay, so now we come to how to invest in ETFs in South Africa. So firstly, you open a brokerage account. Investors can open a brokerage account with a reputable online brokerage firm such as any South African bank of your choice, Easy Equities, Investex, and etc. So you need to do your research here, which brokerage firm you prefer, and then choose an ETF. So you select ETF that aligns with your investment goal and your risk tolerance. So yeah, you can either choose a broad market sector, as I've explained previously, so it's going to be your choice. And then you can buy and sell. So you can buy and sell ETFs through your online trading platform, just like individual stocks. So it's like you're buying shares. So as I've mentioned on my presentation there on types of ETFs, you can just pick any of those ETFs and buy them, just like you're buying individual shares. And I have a video where I share how to buy shares on Easy Equities. I'm going to link it above so that you can see. In conclusion, ETFs has become an essential component of South Africa's investment landscape. They offer a convenient, flexible, and cost-effective way of investors to access local and international markets. With a wide range of ETFs available, investors can build a diversified portfolio that meets their investment objective. As South African investment market continues to evolve, ETFs are likely to play an increasingly important role in the investment strategies of individuals and institutional investors. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. So what I wanted to discuss is how I personally invest in ETFs. So I have Easy Equities accounts. So under tax-free savings account, that's where I buy my ETFs. So my tax-free savings account only has ETFs only. I don't have bonds. I don't have anything else. So I think I can do a video on tax-free savings account, and so that I can give you more information on that as well. And that brings me to the end of this video today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Liking the video helps the video to reach a larger audience, so do not be selfish. Just hit the like button and also share this with your loved ones. Thank you for allowing me in your space and lending me your ear. Always remember that I love you. Have a lovely, productive day. Bye. See you on my next video.